Hi everyone, welcome back to The Pocket Nutritionist. My name is Katie and today I'm going to share with you how to make your very own soy sauce without the soy. If you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button because I share recipes that help you lose weight and have more energy than you know what to do with. So I just wanted to talk today quickly before I share the recipe just about my soy experience, because I know a lot of people who go plant-based end up eating a lot of tofu, tempeh, soy sauce, tamari, these sorts of things, and have them in the diet. And it's usually, I think, from what I've gathered, people wanting to increase their protein intake, and so they put more tofu in as they've taken out meat and other high protein foods. I personally have come to the conclusion that I don't want to eat soy. I'm not allergic to it. However, I did have a story I wanted to share. So years and years ago when I first went plant-based, Troy and I used to go to this place called Fundy's at Paddington, and they would have this amazing scrambled tofu dish on the menu for breakfast, and we'd go there after the markets and have this scrambled tofu. And it was just absolutely delicious at the time, and we really enjoyed it. So one day we asked what the recipe was, and they ended up giving us the recipe for it. So I thought, oh, well, let's save some money and we'll make it ourselves. So I was eating this thing probably every weekend. We get, a little bit peckish and want this scrambled tofu. So we went down to the organic shop, bought the organic tofu, came home, put everything together. We started doing it oil-free as well back in 2020. And then it got to 2021 and it sort of got to the point where I was talking to a naturopath, and she's like, look, have you tried taking out soy? I wasn't getting the result that I wanted. Obviously, this is when things have to change. And so anyway, I thought, oh, I don't want to give up soy because Troy and I really enjoy going down to this place, or we enjoy making this meal. So anyway, I went, all right, I'll take it out for a month, because I'm always up for giving something a go, because I always want the best result, obviously. So anyway, I took all tofu, all soy out of my diet for a whole month. And I was also oil-free at the time. Anyway, 1 month later, and I got this craving for the tofu scramble. And I had it again, and so did Troy. And I kid you not, for 4 hours after that meal, we were knocked out on the couch, fast asleep, just totally wiped out by this soy. And when I woke up after 4 hours, I had my arms like this, and I lifted my arms. I could barely lift my arms up. And I thought, there's something wrong here, because it's not until you take these things out and then reintroduce them that you really realize what they're doing to you. And I just looked at Troy and he looked at me, and I said, we can't have that again. And that was basically the end of it. And then slowly as we progressed, I also took the tamari out, even though it's gluten-free. I took that out too. And Troy started to experiment with that. And he's had the experience where he has taken it out completely. And then when he's had it, he's had this rash flare up every time. And we can nail it down to just that ingredient. And I think for him, it's more about the salt component and how quickly he gets dehydrated. So because I love Asian cooking and Asian dishes and all sorts of things, and I see these things online and think, oh, I just wish I could make that, but I don't have the soy sauce. Well, I've made my own. So I wanted to share it with you so that you might be able to use it as well. Of course, it doesn't have any preservatives and it's lower in salt and all of that jazz. So it lasts in the fridge for up to about a week is probably where I'd cool it and leave it from there. But you can make it, it's so easy, it's so quick, and it also incorporates one of my other recipes, which is the stock cube recipe. So go and check that out. You need to make that in order to make this one, just because, I don't like to buy any of my stuff from the shops. I always make it myself. So go check out the stock cube recipe. You'll need that to be able to make this soy sauce, soy-free recipe. Let's do it. Okay, so to make this recipe, you will need 1/2 cup of the veggie stock bouillon, so the stock cube part. I have got some defrosted stock cubes here, and to the equivalent of half a cup of that mixture. You'll need half a cup of filtered water, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, quarter of a teaspoon of garlic powder, quarter of a teaspoon of ginger powder, 1 teaspoon of blackstrap molasses, a twist of fresh ground black pepper, and just a very minimal amount of salt, maybe about a quarter to a half a teaspoon, or to your taste, or omit if you prefer. So for this recipe, once we've put all the ingredients into the saucepan and it reduces down, it's going to yield about a quarter of a cup of soy sauce. So if you want to make more than that, if your recipe requires a lot more than a quarter of a cup of soy sauce, or you want to use it throughout the week, I'd recommend maybe doubling, tripling, or quadrupling this recipe as much as you are required to have, and that way you can have leftover in the fridge and you can use it all week. Okay, so all we're going to do is just place all of the ingredients into the saucepan, take it over to the stove, bring it up to about medium-high heat, and just start to get it boiling. Once it's going, then you can start to bring the temperature down a little bit and just reduce it down. Okay, so we're going to add all of the ingredients except the salt into the saucepan, and we're going to bring it up to about medium heat, and then we're just going to let it cook down and reduce until it's at about a quarter cup or so. Water, put the filtered water in. Okay, and here is the veggie stock, and if you want the recipe, once again, you can look it up. I've got it on the page. It's for veggie stock and stock cubes, and this is the equivalent of half a cup. Okay. 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. This is an organic one. This is organic ginger powder, so just a quarter of a teaspoon. Quarter of a teaspoon of organic garlic powder. A little bit of black pepper. You can also use fresh black pepper if you wish. And 1 teaspoon of this blackstrap molasses. So sticky. And this is really what gives it the lovely dark colour as well. Now we'll just give it a bit of a stir, blend everything together, and that's on medium heat, medium to high heat. Let's see how it cooks down. Okay, so this is starting to smell really good. It's also got just a very gentle bubble coming through, but I just don't want it to get too bubbly. So if it starts to really start boiling quite a bit, just turn the heat down just a touch. You can have a little bubble, but I just like to take it a little bit slower so it sort of reduces nicely. So I don't know whether you can see, but it is actually starting to reduce down a little bit. It's starting to thicken up a little bit. If you wanted to make this a slightly darker sauce, because I know that soy sauce has got that very dark colour, you could add a little bit more molasses. I just found that when I added too much molasses, I didn't like the flavour as much. So you just feel free to play with any of the quantities of the ingredients, just until you find a balance that suits your palate and that you like best. Okay, so we're at about the 13-minute mark here, and I think it's almost done. So what I'll do now is take this off the heat, add a little bit of salt, and then retaste it, and then adjust to suit what I want. I'm very mindful that We're looking at about 100 mils of sauce here. So if you look at an equivalent tamari sauce for 100 milligrams, it's usually got about 4,000 milligrams of salt in it. So we don't want to put any more than, say, half a teaspoon, because we'd be getting up into that same range for this amount of sauce. You can obviously, if you're very low sodium, then just omit it. It is going to change the flavour of the soy sauce, because soy sauce is traditionally that very salty, umami flavour. So I like to have a little bit in there, but just be aware that you don't want to add too much salt if we're wanting to keep it really healthy. Here's a quarter teaspoon of salt. And just stir that in to dissolve it. A little taste. Perfect. That's really all the salt you need, I think. I've only put in a quarter of a teaspoon, so that will equate to 2,000 milligrams per 100 mils of soy sauce, which is half the amount of the other soy sauces on the market, even the salt reduced one. So there you have it. I'm just going to let that cool. It's still quite warm. I can see there's steam coming out of it still. I've actually just realized now the amount that I've yielded there is closer to 200 mils. So this is 1,000 milligrams of sodium per 100 mils of soy sauce. So basically this is going to be a quarter of the amount of sodium that would be in a salt reduced tamari sauce. So those of you on the low sodium train, you'll enjoy this as well. And it's just really savory. It's really going to hit that spot with all those recipes where you want to use the tamari or the soy sauce, but you just can't. Here's a way to do it. I'm so thrilled with this because I'm going to now be making lots more little stir fries. I'm going to put up a recipe at some point for a beautiful plant-based oil-free pad thai with no soy. I'm also going to have a look at other ways to incorporate this into cooking. So just into things like, a veggie-based beautiful jus that I can put on top of some more fine dining dishes with potatoes and broccolini, and because the broccolini absorbs this and it's just absolutely delicious. My mouth's watering after just tasting it anyway. So I hope that you can enjoy this. I hope that this brings you a lot of happiness now that you can enjoy all these beautiful dishes that you want to make without the soy and lower in salt. And for some of my upcoming recipes, you'll need this one anyway, because I'm going to use this quite a bit in these other recipes. So I thought I'd make this one for you today. Seal that up and put it in the fridge and make some absolutely delicious creations with it. Enjoy, and hope you give it a go.